places I've never been.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am joined with some, I don't even know what this is. It's like a no sugar spritzer. It is extremely hot outside and I thought I would just do my makeup. I have just literally a basket of makeup that I just threw in here, not really knowing what kind of look I'm going for. Probably natural, probably Sweatproof actually. Let's do a Sweatproof makeup look just because it is really hot outside and humid. So Sweatproof is definitely what we need to go for. Not necessarily like you're not gonna sweat in it, but it won't look hella messed up once, you know, you're outside and sweating. So first and foremost, I am testing out the next self-tanner for the self-tanner showdown, which is the Josie Maran Argan Liquid Gold Self-Tanning Oil. Now, I can't tell exactly how much product I used for a single application, but I can tell you I used a lot. So that is currently what I have in my body. It's developing. I've only had it on for a couple hours. It is so far transferring on anything I touch because it does have a color guard. So more info on that in an upcoming video once I formulated my thoughts and have a review. But yeah, if I look a little bit more tan or glowy, it's because I currently have this guy on. And as a disclaimer, I do apply some of my self-tanner on my face. It just depends on kind of the ingredients or what's in it, and I've never had issues applying self-tanner on my face before, so I just went ahead with whatever was left on my mitt and I just rubbed it all over my face. So that is why my face may look a little bit more tan. I'm going to start off with a primer just because I feel like I just want to prep my skin. I have worked the last 4 days at the hospital. I've actually worked a day and 3 nights. And it was a lot, and my skin definitely, I got like a little breakout here that I was dealing with, a breakout here, kind of anything in this area I tend to break out with after wearing a mask for 4 days in a row. So yeah, definitely have a little bit of blemishes to cover up today. But I'm gonna give my skin a little TLC with a primer. Either I'm gonna go with the ILIA True Skin Radiant Priming Serum or the Bite. This is the skin optimizing one. So I actually haven't used this on my channel, so I think I'm gonna go in with this, and I've used this once before. This is the normal to dry skin one. They also have I think a normal to oily, which has willow bark in it, so it's gonna help kind of balance oils and help with any blemishes. But I typically have more dry skin, so we are going in with this guy, and it really just kind of feels like a moisturizer on the skin, and it's really nice, lightweight, doesn't feel too heavy. It pretty much absorbs into the skin right away. So this is a good one just to kind of prep my skin for foundation and concealer, because we're definitely gonna need some concealer today to help with those blemishes. Also gonna prep my lips with the Bite Beauty. This is the Agave Lip Balm. It's just a plain old simple lip balm, but my lips need it. Dry lips is another thing that I commonly have issues with when it comes to wearing a mask. I also really like the Hurraw Sun Lip Balm, which is amazing for the summertime because it has SPF 15, which is super good. You want to make sure that you're protecting your lips from the sun. But yeah, my lips need a little extra moisture, and this guy does the trick. I typically like going in with a tinted moisturizer in the summertime, especially one that has SPF in it. So we have the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, which has SPF 30, as well as the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint, which has SPF 40. Now, I've been asked quite a few times in terms of when is this going to be available in Canada. I don't actually have the answer to that. I really wish I had a solidified answer. This was sent to me from ILIA, so that's kind of how I got around that loophole while living in Canada. But yeah, because this has SPF, it has to be verified and granted access into Canada based on our own SPF standards. So that's kind of what the issue is with that. With that being said, I think I'll go in with the Bare Minerals SPF 30 Now, the active ingredients in here are titanium dioxide 6.2. So I just want to do a little bit of a disclaimer when it comes to SPF in tinted moisturizers. So this one has active ingredients zinc oxide 12%. Anyway, so I'm currently working on a little SPF guide, which is for a little project I'm working on, which you guys will definitely be in the loop for. But titanium dioxide does not give you broad spectrum SPF coverage. Broad spectrum meaning coverage both from UVA and UVB. So this is really only going to give you SPF coverage for UVB rays, which is what burns you. Now, zinc oxide does help to cover both UVA and UVB protection. UVA causing anti-age or causing premature aging. It could also cause cellular damage, DNA damage, potentially leading to some types of skin cancer, which is why sunscreen and sun protection is so important. Now, zinc oxide does give you broad spectrum SPF coverage for both UVA and UVB, but it does have to be a certain percentage. Usually 20+% equals broad spectrum SPF, and this one is only 12%. So it's really only going to give you coverage for UVB and maybe minimal UVA protection. So I definitely recommend, regardless of if you're using a tinted moisturizer with SPF, to also wear an SPF on your face as part of your skincare routine prior to going in with your makeup. So just a little disclaimer, something that I've been kind of being more conscious about. So yeah, that is my little tip in terms of SPF and tinted sunscreens, tinted moisturizers with SPF values to them. So just because it says SPF 40 or SPF 30 doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a broad spectrum SPF. This one says broad spectrum SPF, and I really don't know why, because it only has titanium dioxide, and that is not broad spectrum, so you lied to us. Anyways, that being said, I'm still going to go in with the Bare Minerals one. I do have my Last Spa sunscreen on. That is currently the sunscreen I'm using. I really would like to try the Super Goop. I think it's called Unseen or something like that. It looks really cute. The packaging definitely sells me, but it also has really clean ingredients. I will say that not all Super Goop products are totally clean. I did check them on EWG. The face one I think has a rating of 1 or 2, which is clean. Some of their products do have a rating of 6 or 7, so just make sure that when you're looking at Super Goop products that you are checking out the rating on EWG. Thankfully, the EWG database does have just Super Goop on there, so you don't have to search every individual ingredient. So definitely check that out, but I think that'll be my next sunscreen purchase to try out. Now, as usual, I'm just using a beauty blender just to blend that all in. And I love the color and coverage that this gives. It's pretty light. It is buildable to medium, but I honestly think sometimes the lighter the coverage, the better when it comes to sweat-proof makeup. If you have super heavy duty coverage foundation, I find that it usually starts to break up with the sweat. So kind of going with a little bit of a lighter foundation and then just spot concealing with a heavier duty concealer just where you need it is the trick to making your makeup look good and not patchy and streaky as you begin to sweat and sit out in the sun or do any outdoor activities. Now, you guys probably know by now that I love my ILIA True Skin Serum Concealer. It's one of my favorite concealers, but when I'm dealing with bad boys like this, I do go in with my Fitglow concealer. It's just a much higher coverage, and I find it a lot better for covering up kind of those hard to cover blemishes. So I have the shade C2.5, which I think might be the perfect color for me right now. It's just a bit of a thicker, moussier consistency than the ILIA one. So it's really good at spot concealing. I don't love it under my eyes just because I do feel it's a little bit too thick. But when it comes to blemishes, it is amazing. Now Fitglow is also really known for having a lot of skincare benefiting ingredients in here, and it does contain both some under eye brightening ingredients, but it also has some to target and heal blemishes. So love that about it. I'm just first going in with my finger and then I'll go in with my blender. The reason behind that is that it warms up the product because it is a bit of a thicker consistency, and I find it just helps to kind of push and melt the product into my skin for a more seamless application. And it also doesn't take away too much of the coverage, where sometimes the beauty blender can pick up some of the coverage. So I do finger first and then the beauty blender just to kind of finish it all off. So like I said, I don't let the Fitglow under my eyes, so I am going to use the ILIA concealer just to brighten under the eyes. This is the color Chicory, or Chicory, however you would like to pronounce it. And obviously you don't have to go in with two different concealers. If you like using a heavier coverage concealer under eyes, you can do that. I just find it kind of looks a little bit crepey and heavy under the delicate eye area, so I do like going in with a little bit of a more liquidy formula and a little bit more hydrating. I find that the ILIA True Skin Serum Concealer is just a lot more hydrating and works really, really well under the eyes. Now, I find the trick to not having too much kind of like smudging and movement of your makeup in the sun is to use cream products and just kind of set it with a loose setting powder. If you apply lots of creams and then a bunch of powders over top, I find it can kind of start to look muddy and clumpy, especially as you sweat, and can look like it's broken up or patching up in one spot. That's just what I've learned through living in a pretty humid climate, and also traveling to really tropical places that have really humid climate as well. So first, I'm just going to do a little bit of setting under the eyes, and then we'll go in with some cream products and do a really light dusting of my setting powder afterwards. So I'm going in with the ILIA Soft Focus Finishing Powder, which should not come off as a surprise because it is my favorite setting powder. And I like taking a bit of a smaller brush that fits really nice and precisely under the eyes when I don't want to add too much anywhere else. I'm just going to do a little light dusting just where my blemish was, just to set that concealer. I am going to use a powder bronzer, but I'm going to use a really nice fluffy brush like this, and I'm not going to focus too much on contouring because I don't want really sharp lines that could budge. I'm just going to do a really soft kind of all over glow. And so I'm using this kind of little large kabuki brush by Nude by Nature, and just with circular motions I'm kind of just bronzing up my face. Like that. I am gonna go in with a cream blush, so I'm using the ILIA Multistick and I Put a Spell on You, which is kind of like this tangerine peach tone. And I just go right onto my cheeks with it. They're pigmented, but not like extremely pigmented where it looks like really concentrated and difficult to blend into your skin. So I just go right on, and then I just use my finger just to blend it out. And this is a super pretty color for the summertime. I love peachy tangerines. I think it just complements a kind of glowing tan so beautifully. Tangerine and kind of like these warm browns just look stunning. And I like taking it kind of up into this corner because I feel like it just makes it look like a true beautiful glowing can. So you can kind of go like that, and it gives you kind of a super natural looking light burn slash tan. Looks so beautiful and healthy and radiant, especially when you're using those cream products. I know I talk about and use this product all the time, but it's seriously just one of my favorite highlighters. I honestly, if I were to recommend one highlighter to include in your collection that will be different than anything else in your collection, this is it. It really is a unique product. I have quite a few different powdered highlights that kind of resemble a lot of the other highlighters in my collection, but this one, I don't have a product that's like this. So I think that's why I gravitated towards the most, because it just gives you a super natural glow. You can build it up, you can keep it really light. And this stuff looks beautiful whether you have a little bit of sweat on you or you're super matte. It just wears beautifully on both dry and oily skin types, or sweaty skin. I'm just using my mirror. Yeah, that looks so beautiful. Just making sure it's all blended in. Summertime, I always keep my eyebrows really minimal, so I just use a brow gel just because I kind of find it just solidifies everything in place, keeps your brows in place. Or I go in with a brow pencil, which is also really good. So brows are done. Also just like doing a really minimal kind of wash all over the eyes. So I've got this palette. This is the Aether Beauty Rose Quartz Crystal Gemstone palette, and I love this kind of like gold metallic sheen, a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna apply that all over my eyes. I feel like it just illuminates your eyes, and this shimmer and sparkle just catches the sunlight really beautifully. It does have a bit of kickback when you put your brush in there, but yeah, it looks so just like glowy and illuminating and sparkly. And no surprise here, I just go in, same brush, keep it really easy with my bronzer, and I just kind of deepen and warm up that crease, and I kind of feather it out a bit. If you have blue or green eyes, I find that these kind of bronzy, warm tone, coppery browns and bronzes just make green and blue eyes pop. And obviously it just looks beautiful in any skin, any eye color. But now I tend to avoid any eyeliners, whether that's liquid, pencil, gel, whatever. I just kind of emphasize my lashes with mascara. Now I really like this Fitglow. It just looks so beautiful, and I do find it quite good at being sweat resistant. Obviously not sweat proof. Nothing's really sweat proof unless you use waterproof, which I do not use. There isn't really a waterproof mascara except for the, I believe, Airpress one, which I have mentioned before I don't like. Some people do, but yeah, I've never liked it. So this is my current kind of summer sweat resistant mascara. There we go. Does a really good job at lengthening and separating and kind of just creating a nice beautiful flutter on your eyes. So really good mascara. Like I mentioned before, this is one of my top 3. I just haven't used it in a while because I've been such a fan of the ILIA Limitless Lash Mascara, but yeah, that one's so good as well. All right, so I'm just going to, like I said, do a super light dusting of the Fade Into finishing powder, and I do this just by taking whatever's in the lid and dabbing it. Like that. Again, you don't need a lot of product at all, just a really light dusting just to kind of set everything in place. Now the last thing is to finish off the lips. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to go in with my Hurraw lip balm to give some SPF coverage. And then I have this new product. This is from Axiology. It's just one of their lip crayons, and this is in the color Enduring. And it just works beautifully on top of lip balms because it kind of adds a little bit more of a creaminess to it. And I really like the pencil kind of crayon shape to it. Just makes it super easy, user-friendly. And the packaging is so chic and pretty. I love the gold packaging. And to finish everything off, I'm just going to do a light little spray. And I find this really helps to set my face, set my makeup in place, but also hydrate and add that little final touch of glow. I really do find it kind of adds dewiness back to your face if you have lost it with any of the products you've applied to your skin that maybe are a little bit more drying or mattifying or more powdery. So this is the basically finished look of the super simple, sweat resistant, sweat proof makeup look. It's really simple. It's glowy, it's dewy, it's healthy looking. It's minimal as per usual with the makeup on my channel. Oh, I love it. This is what I do almost every single day, with the exception of maybe just switching out the lip color, maybe adding a little different eyeshadow on the eyes, but always putting bronzer in my eyes. I'm always doing that when it's the summertime because I feel like it just pulls the whole bronze look together. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you have any questions or requests. More videos coming soon, as I am now off again for the next couple days before my next rotation at work. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.